The red dust of Mars settled gently over the biodomes of Ares City, casting the colony in an otherworldly glow as its inhabitants went about their daily routines. This was no ordinary day, however. Below the surface, something ancient was stirring. Dr. Lydia Kane stood at the edge of an expansive underground cavern, her heart racing in her chest. She'd always believed there was more to Mars than met the eye, but this was beyond her wildest expectations. "What do you see, Lydia?" crackled a voice through her comlink. It was Andrew, her loyal but ever skeptical colleague, back at the main lab. "Life," she whispered, hardly believing it herself. Her torchlight caught on iridescent forms, revealing creatures whose existence defied all known biological classification. They moved with a serene, fluid grace across the cavern floor, oblivious to the intruder in their midst. Andrew's voice cut through her thoughts. "Life? As in actual life? Down there? How's that possible?" I don't know," Lydia replied, her voice barely above a whisper. "But they're intelligent. I can feel it." Meanwhile, on the surface, Ares City bustled with its usual activity. To those who had known only Earth, Mars was a harsh and hostile place. Its dusty landscapes and thin atmosphere, a constant reminder of its unwelcoming nature. But to the colonists, it was home. Generations had been born beneath its skies, their lungs adapted to the thinner air, their spirits as resilient as the hardy flora cultivated in geodesic greenhouses. Lydia and Andrew were among the brightest minds of their generation, drawn to Mars by the promise of discovery. For Lydia, it was the lure of the unknown that drove her, the need to unveil Mars' secrets and bridge the gap between humanity and whatever else was out there. Andrew, on the other hand, was driven by a more practical, even cynical outlook. "We came here to make Mars livable, not to play intergalactic diplomacy," he often quipped. Back in the cavern, Lydia knew she had to document her find. She activated her recorder, capturing the otherworldly beings as they moved like whispers through the cavern's shadows. Their language, if it could be called that, was a soft melody, resonating with the walls themselves. Each note echoed with emotion. Sorrow, joy, hope, a symphony of alien experiences. When she returned to the surface, her data triggered a flurry of activity within Ares City's scientific community. But not everyone shared her sense of wonder. In the council chambers, where the colony's leaders debated the potential implications, Captain Marcus Hale took the floor. With his square jaw and steely gaze, he exuded an aura of authority. "Lydia," he began, his tone respectful but firm, "we can't ignore the potential threat. For all we know, these creatures could be dangerous." "They're not dangerous," Lydia insisted. "They're sentient, capable of communication. We have a chance to learn from them, to coexist." "The risks are too high," Marcus replied. "We've worked too hard to make Mars our home. We can't jeopardize that." A murmur of agreement rippled through the council. Andrew, ever the pragmatist, chimed in. "While I agree with Lydia that the discovery is remarkable, Marcus has a point. We need to be cautious." Lydia's frustration simmered. The potential for understanding, for forging a bond with these beings, was too great to dismiss. But Marcus's words rang true for many. Fear of the unknown was a potent force, and in a place as precarious as Mars, it couldn't be ignored. Over the following weeks, Lydia and her team continued their studies, striving to decipher the alien language. The creatures, dubbed the Etherians for their ethereal beauty, seemed to possess knowledge of Mars's ancient past, a history that predated even Earth's earliest civilizations. They communicated in ways that were both fascinating and bewildering, their tonal language seeming to convey not just words but entire narratives. The tensions in Ares City simmered, however, as factions emerged. Some colonists, inspired by Lydia's vision, advocated for peaceful coexistence. Others, led by Marcus and the more security-minded members of the council, feared the consequences of allowing the Etherians into their world. The debates grew more heated, with emotions running high. Then, unexpectedly, an event shocked the colony to its core. A remote greenhouse at the city's edge was found destroyed, its precious crops ravaged. Whispers of sabotage quickly spread, and suspicion fell squarely on the Etherians. "I knew they couldn't be trusted," Marcus declared at a hastily called council meeting. "We need to take action before it's too late." "No," Lydia protested. "We don't know it was them. We can't assume guilt without proof. Tensions peaked as Marcus and his followers pushed for an aggressive stance, while Lydia struggled to maintain her vision of peace. In the midst of the chaos, Andrew found himself torn between his friendship with Lydia and his pragmatic inclinations. "Lydia, we need to be careful," he cautioned. "We can't let idealism cloud our judgment." Desperation drove Lydia back to the cavern, determined to find answers. There, she encountered an Etherian, a delicate, shimmering being whose eyes, if they could be called eyes, reflected a deep sadness. "Help," it seemed to say, the word resonating not in Lydia's ears, but within her mind. The revelation struck her like a bolt. The Etherians, far from being hostile, were in peril themselves. Lydia hurried back to Ares City, her heart pounding with urgency. But as she reached the city's edge, an unexpected sight greeted her. The greenhouse wasn't destroyed. It was flourishing, its plants more vibrant than ever before. In the council chambers, Lydia's voice trembled with the weight of her discovery. "The Etherians aren't our enemies," she declared. "They've been helping us all along. Their presence accelerated the growth of our crops. They want to coexist." Marcus's expression wavered, uncertainty flickering in his eyes. The room fell silent as Lydia played her recordings, letting the haunting beauty of the Etherian language fill the air. Slowly, a sense of understanding spread among the council members. Then came a realization that no one anticipated. Hidden deep within the cavern, a message was finally deciphered. A warning left by the Etherians' ancestors. An ancient cataclysm had once devastated Mars. A disaster set to repeat, unless humanity and the Etherians united to prevent it. The planet's core, long dormant, was awakening, threatening to unleash destruction on the surface. This revelation changed everything. Foes became allies as the colonists and Etherians worked together to avert the impending catastrophe. Knowledge was exchanged, new technologies developed, bridging the gap between their worlds. Andrew found himself at Lydia's side, his skepticism transformed into resolve. "We've got this," he said, offering a rare smile. Lydia nodded, hope shining in her eyes. "Together," she replied, feeling the weight of history upon her shoulders. As Ares City and the Etherians collaborated to stabilize Mars, a profound transformation took place. Suspicion and fear gave way to trust and unity. In the midst of adversity, they found common ground. In the end, it wasn't a tale of conflict, but of reconciliation, a testament to the power of understanding and cooperation. The Martian skies, once an expanse of uncertainty, now held the promise of a brighter future for both humanity and the ancient beings that called Mars home. Through shared effort, Mars's red dust became not a barrier, but a bridge, connecting the diverse inhabitants beneath its sky. And as they looked to the stars, Lydia knew their journey had only just begun. Together, they would forge a new destiny, one in which the bonds of friendship proved stronger than the forces that sought to tear them apart.